Welcome to Heroes After Dark, back again. And we're talking about Spider-Man. Yeah. Let's talk about
All right,
this.
so I upgraded to a 9.6, which I cannot find where I logged into the registry and I pulled it out of the box and I don't know where I put it. So if everyone's like, where's that Medusa cover? Hey, skip it. We did skip it because I couldn't find the 9.6. So here's the 9.2, which is my second copy. And not a key.
No, but it's the Dominican blowout. That blowout is impeccable.
That is a Brazilian blowout.
I mean, Dominican, but hey, we celebrate it all. It's Latin. We celebrate our Latin.
That alone makes this like a $500 book because that's what a Brazilian blowout costs.
Indeed. That blowout will get you.
Where they basically melt your hair.
Yeah, but it looks when she walks out the street.
It's sad that I know what goes into that. Okay, anyways. So, all right. So this is 62. I don't know, Medusa. I don't know why anyone would call it a key. Maybe it's their first cross. Not even their first crossover. I don't know.
I mean, the Inhumans. That really helped the show.
You know that like that snippet where they show like the guy vomiting or the lady farting. That's that. Okay, next.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
That one.
Now, we have a disagreement on this one. This is the first Randy Robertson, which we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I love this cover for its composition. I think that the composition is phenomenal on it as from an artistic standpoint. It may not be the best as far as, the villain is just hands, but I think just the composition of it is excellent.
I like the other Mysterio cover. I mean, this one, I got my hands on you in Coney Island. That feels creepy. I mean, he's got gloves on, so I mean, there might be some medical allusion to it.
We're doing.
I mean, he's got his hands.
We're looking at the exact same cover.
Yeah, different grades.
That's a 9.0. That's a 9.
This is the proctology cover.
So, and here's a 9.4. And this is not a hard cover to get, not an expensive cover to get, and I just love it. I don't think that Mysterio is going to carry the same weight as getting a Doc Ock or Green Goblin cover, but major villain,
yeah,
A-lister, in my opinion.
Agreed. This one is I love this campus, the Crisis on Campus cover.
This is another T-shirt. I don't know why they picked this one to be the T-shirt, one of the T-shirt ones.
Because of rent. I mean, they're protesting against rent. I mean, you got a guy with a turtleneck.
So
and
you think
chain.
It's politically motivated?
Right.
Subtle political.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, it could be rent motivation. Rent is too damn high.
It is the start of a story arc that they actually promote. I don't know if they've done that really before, where they have a true story arc saying, "Hey, we're starting this," and it's Kingpin. But that's about it. Not much in here. But it's just a T-shirt book that people will see.
I mean, this is the quintessential best pinky ring cover. If there's a cover battle on pinky rings, you're winning this every single time.
Now,
Kirby Knuckles.
Do you think early Kingpin covers are going to start making a?
I think so. I mean, Daredevil, obviously, that's where people generally think about Kingpin, even though ASM is the true street level hero. But I think they're going to go up.
I mean, to me, if you could do what you wanted, and you had that gritty Daredevil, and you could get Spider-Man into that story in a gritty street level story, I mean, that's where if I was in control and I own Netflix, I know that's a winner.
Oh yeah,
but they don't have, their boardrooms are full of idiots who don't know that those are winners. In my opinion.
But and then it's also, I mean, people would then revert back to Daredevil 16, ASM
exactly.
16, because those are the two.
If you did a gritty street level storyline with that storyline, did it right, everyone would be talking about it. Everyone would go watch those episodes.
Okay, now I'm curious. Now those two books get a lot of love, the pair up of Daredevil and Spider-Man, but Spider-Man and X-Men, that issue gets no love.
Because I think that it doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
I think that when you look at the crossovers, Spider-Man meshes well with certain characters. And I think that Daredevil and him mesh well together.
What about Spider-Man and Wolverine? That story is one of my favorites.
Well, that story is that's a great story. we'll have to have a whole thing dedicated to Hobgoblin and Ned Leeds and what really was going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as a kid, that was in like my wheelhouse of like a book I bought off the shelf with my allowance.
Yeah, because it's a gritty story. They go to Europe. They're in West Germany, East Germany. This is before the fall of the wall.
But the question is that really like a Spider-Man story, or is it more of a Wolverine story?
I mean, there's some great parts where Spider-Man shows up and Wolverine has company with him, and he's indisposed.
But to me, that book was always it was like throwing it was like a Wolverine setting,
Yeah.
and then a Spider-Man, and they pushed the Spider-Man storyline into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's still good. It's good storytelling. Is good storytelling. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So street level heroes automatically. Kingpin books, yes, I do think they will go up, and they have gone up considerably.
It's funny because if you look at the Kingpin covers, almost all of them are dynamic fighting covers, right?
Yeah, swinging Spider-Man around.
He's always like, yeah, I don't know if Romita just like to draw Kingpin beating the crap out of Spider-Man or what, but they're...
I mean, he liked them.
And then we're getting another Target t-shirt.
Yes.
It's another Kingpin book now on the cover, and it's another...
It's the cops. The coppers.
It's true. I never even thought about it. That's why they're doing it, is because it's like social protest, and then you've got the cops.
That's what I'm here for.
He's in prison. It's all these ones where he's like being arrested. Maybe they're telling you not to shoplift.
If the target fits, wear it. This one, it's kind of, to me, I think this is a cool cover.
It's a
for motion,
but it's a filler issue.
Yeah, great motion on it.
Nothing special.
No.
Filler issue. Not hard to get. I don't have any memories attached to this one because it's just a filler. Not a key.
Not a key?
Now, I love this one. So interesting. So this one was in a lot of ads. So if you go and you look in other Marvel books at that time, you'll have seen this book. Because they were always posting this when they said like, oh, get a Marvel subscription, or hey, have you been checking out Marvel lately? They put that picture.
Really?
Yes. And there's a few books that they did that with, where it's like you saw it like in, ads to buy whatever, that they used that image. I'm not sure why.
Just part of the direct mail campaign.
Just whatever their campaign was, they liked that image.
Well, I mean, it's better than this image.
And it's better than next issue. So.
I mean, this one had some innuendos. Man Mountain? A mountain of a man.
Know. He's taking his shirt off.
Yeah, that just...
This is probably of every book that we've looked at, this is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, this one, you had Man Mountain, and then what comes afterwards, I think it lets you know what took place in this issue that affected Spider-Man.
That's a whole other topic about the child abuse issue, where we find out that Peter Parker's first escapade, we'll say, was not so great with the older male figure.
Yeah, I mean, you have let's juxtapose. So you have Man Mountain, and then you have the Walk of Shame.
Oh gosh.
Where were you when this book came out?
And this is another book they like to 75. It's I guess technically it's the end of that stone tablet, Silvermane, whatever I don't know if it's reincarnate, what you call it, but this is the end of the arc.
Yeah, and then we go into 15 cents. That was the price change soon after, or I don't know if it was an issue or two before.
And this one you see on t-shirts sometimes too. I've seen that one before.
Yeah.
That's where they go to 15 cents.
That issue, that's the price change. So price change, is that considered a key?
No. No. Not a key.
Not a key.
Yeah, we don't have there's no keys for a while here.
I mean, we've got someone with a lab coat.
And then we've got just, action-packed issue, lizard fight, nothing special.
With his lab coat on the whole time, and a tail.
Shit happens. And then, this one took me a long time to get in a high grade. And they even let the check mark slide.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, this one took me a little while. So interestingly, if you see a check mark, sometimes they allow that. It was how they would do for receiving. So if they got the books in, they would check that they received whatever they were supposed to get.
Oh, so they treat it almost like a
it's almost like a stamp.
Date stamp.
Yeah. So it's like a date stamp. So if you see a little check mark like that, know that is not like necessarily the person who got the book. It's like the store got it and was just check counting them. So No, I don't think there's anything special about this. It's a dark cover, a little harder to get. Not even worth that much.
Yeah, this one has seen such a resurgence.
Now, this book, I think, is an underrated key. And if you can get a good copy of these, I buy these up if I see them for a good price.
Now, this is interesting. So I was looking for this book, and you see, like what we talked about in previous videos, where you see this variance in pricing. You can go from 1.0 up to 8.5, very, very affordable. Even 9.0. 9.6, big jump. 9.8, forget about it. Ever since the Miles Morales movie.
Oh, didn't Pedro have?
Yeah.
A friend of ours had a 9.8 in this book, I believe.
And sold it.
What, 10 grand or 5 grand or something?
Yeah.
It was a pricey book.
Yeah, it's a pricey book now. And now you can't find this in super high grade anymore. You can find it in 7.0s quite a bit.
I will say that this, so when I got this and the Shocker book were the exact same price. And they were way higher than every other book as we're going through these. Those were the two most expensive books in this sort of later half. Prowler's 46, but where I want to say they were about $600 to $800 in the 9.4.
Which is crazy. Yeah, we've got to look.
Now it's probably more than that, but
at
the time,
probably
every
5
other,
times that. Yeah.
Every other book was $200, and all of a sudden it's like, why is this one $600 or $700?
Because Prowler wasn't that big of a deal.
It wasn't anything
till now that we got him associated with Miles.
But he was he was still, I would say, he was one of those characters I think that people wanted more of. Not then,
yeah,
but as time has gone on, he sort of shows up, and then Miles. It's interesting because he's not even in this universe.
It's not 616.
But listen, think about that storyline. What if that Prowler shows up and it's not his uncle?
That would be incredible.
That would be a good story.
Yeah. So now, what do you consider him in the pantheon of villains? Is he a A-lister, B-lister, C-lister, or a Z-lister?
I want to call him a B+.
B+.
I don't.
So you have him there with Rhino.
Yeah. I would say before Miles, he would have been a C+.
I would have given him a Z-lister.
You think so?
Yeah. In terms of when you think of
he comes, he
the
shows
villains.
up. He's had mini-series. I mean, I just think that, and he had a little bit of a, I like Prowler book. I like it wasn't one that just like Rhino. You're not like, oh my God, it's a Rhino book. I got to go get it.
No.
I think, but after Miles, I think that changed it, and this became a wanted book. And Shocker, after they put him in the movie and it was done really well, they wanted that book. But everyone always liked Shocker. I always thought those stories were funny because you just rip on them left and right.
Yeah.
Prowler is more of a relatable book because it's kind of like he's trying to convince this guy to be good. It's like the Darth Vader, like, I see the good in you.
Yeah. That makes sense. Good point.
So it's like, as a theme, it's like there's a chance of redemption.
But this best title.
Night to Prowl No More. Not the Night of the Prowler.
Yeah. No. To Prowl No More. I can relate to that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we've been there.
A few blood tests out there. Okay.
Is it a key or is it not a key?
I think the other one's a key.
Would you put them together?
I think I would not. I think there's a substantial difference in price between the two.
Fair.
This is the 78, definitely
78,
a key.
yes.
79 is important to have, but not a key.
Okay.
It's like getting Hope 182.
It depends on what grade.
It's still not. It's not a key.
No.
But you got to have it for the run.
Yeah, you have to have it. Beautiful white pages. This grade.
And this is another one that's it's on T-shirts. Nothing else. Just a cool cover. I think the Chameleon is underrated. I think that Spider-Man has, what would you call it? Like, where the Chameleon should never be a good villain for Spider-Man. He has the exact power set that you need to beat the Chameleon, right?
Yeah. Because
if you're the Chameleon, your alarm will go off, right? And so he knows who the Chameleon is. So I think as far as that goes, it's too easy. And they never really made the Chameleon as clever as. He'd have to be so clever that he knows Spider-Man can detect him and then play off of that. And I don't know if they really did a good job of that. Best villain ever.
Oh, God.
Why is this not? This is a huge, massive key collector key.
Z-lister.
First kangaroo.
Oi, mate.
Oi. Marvel's answer to Boomerang.
Yes, oi. That's all throughout the book. He just says oi.
But now here's a question, right? It's an under 100 first appearance. So by definition, I would say it's never going to be a bad investment
No.
because it's a first appearance. It's early. It's not an expensive one. You can get this book, I would say not necessarily a 9.4, but you can get probably a 9.0 for a very affordable price.
I would get the Kazar book before I'd buy that.
I would not.
For the Sabretooth on a skyscraper? I mean,
because they're like jumping the shark? Or
yeah, I mean, you can't deny the superiority of that Sabretooth. I mean, it's a Sabretooth that's been extinct, showing up in Midtown.
Jumping on buildings.
Jumping on buildings.
Because that makes sense.
Yes.
I would take the elevator.
Yeah, I would have.
Maybe a helicopter. I don't know. Dropped off from the news station.
I mean, Craven could have helped him out. He had his Chitara suit on.
This is another one that like it just took me a long time to get this. I had a 9.0 or 9.2 forever, and it just took me such a long time to get this book. Nothing in the book. It's a cool electro cover. It's a little bit dark cover, but it's a later book. Not worth a whole lot. Could not find it for the longest time. So, but I mean, that's it. Nothing else to say.
So when I was a kid, I thought I mispronounced his name, and I thought it was
The Shemer?
No, the Schmear. I thought it was...
So he was fighting a bagel guy.
Yeah, he's a bagel guy. I was like, a Schmear? I was like, what is that? I was like, does he have a butter knife?
Mr. Lender here.
Mr. Lender, he had locks.
Mr. Lender attacks with his Schmear.
But yeah, I totally did not. I was like, I kept thinking it was a Schmear, and then my friend was like, no, it's Schemer. And I
That's
was
so
like,
funny.
Schemer? And
No, I like this. I like this because I think that no one saw it coming, that the reveal that it was going to end up being his son.
Yeah.
And I think they borrowed some of the elements of this in the Daredevil.
They did.
As far as the dynamic between Kingpin and the wife, where she's actually a bad person, right? She's not like the wife who doesn't know. She's like just as evil as he is.
Oh yeah, she's complicit.
And so I think that they borrowed that for the Daredevil storyline, and this is a good story. Not expensive books, but this is one that you want the run. If you're gonna get it to read it, or you're gonna get it just to collect it, you kind of want the 3 run of the Schemer.
Yeah, and eat it with your bagels.
And then and that people who are like, what is a lender's bagel?
Yeah. Key or not key?
See, to me, I would call it a minor key.
Let's just yes or no. Key or non-key?
It's a minor key.
Get in the comments if you believe this minor key stuff.
I think that when they made it like he was going to become the Rose,
that's where that's exactly
I would say
good
had
point.
he become the Rose and he's not the Rose,
No.
then I think that they made him somebody else. But had he become the Rose later on, then I would have agreed yes that is the key, because the Rose is still around.
Yeah. I mean, the Rose is around in a facsimile now, but the book is still $10.
So that Rose book?
Yeah, $10, $20 book tops in high grade. But
Really?
they just did they have it in facsimiles.
Oh,
it's still in stores now.
That was such a popular book as a
back
kid.
then. But we digress. It's an affordable book that you can buy raw in high grade for $20. Why do you need it as a facsimile for $6?
I mean, true story. Now, what's a 9.8 in that go for? $150?
Probably, maybe 200 tops. Yeah.
And actually, it's funny that we're jumping on that one. But yeah, I think that if you see a first Rose for a 9.8 or a 9.6 for under $100, I think that would be a steal.
Agreed.
You heard it here first. Okay, next.
Yeah. All right. Back to him
All right,
again.
and here we are, just another Schemer, evil Vanessa Fisk, Kingpin story, part of the arc. It's a good 3-issue run. It's kind of one of those where it's like you run to somebody to say, oh my God, did you know this? And then also they surprise you by being just as evil as the person you're counting on. That's kind of the gist of the story.
And again, he didn't have the pinky ring on, but
That's an error. This is an error issue.
it is.
But they finally reveal that the Schemer is actually his disgruntled son, who's just as bad as he is, but in a different.
But he's a middle-aged man at this point,
Yes.
which didn't make any sense. Because, I mean, that makes Kingpin, what, 80 years old?
Well, right. Kingpin, in theory, and this should be probably what, in his early 40s?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, Kingpin's one of those guys, he ages a little bit. Spider-Man never ages.
No.
Spider-Man literally ages about 6 years, 7 years total in all these books. Because he's now probably, what, late 20s, I would say?
Yeah, 20s, 30s.
27, 28.
Yeah, I mean, in Ultimate Spider-Man, he's now 40.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
different.
but different.
Popular. This is kind of a little bit of a popular one because it's got an origin of the Black Widow, and I don't recall if she had another origin. Her original origin is that she's an evil, she's
Yeah,
a
just
spy,
a
she's a
KGB.
bad person.
Yeah.
Then there's more to how she became good. What's interesting though, there's a few key Black Widow issues out there that have next to no value. There's the one where she actually gets her own book inside Daredevil, and they change the title, and it's not anything, but it's like, oh, Black Widow joined. Oh, it's now Daredevil and Black Widow.
Yep. Early 70s.
Yep. And they're worth $5 more.
Yeah.
Right now it's not even. But if you said, is that a key? And I'm like, well, a major character just joined the story for the next 50 issues. To me, that's important.
Yeah, because you see the shift up to in that book till you get to, only up until the Miller run.
Yeah.
That's when it switches. She's removed out, and then they brought in Elektra.
And don't forget I'm gonna have to remember my issues, but there's some major things that happen in Daredevil along the way. Daredevil is not like a bad book. I mean, when Miller kind of brought it back in the forefront, but Daredevil was not a bad book at that level. Now,
No.
Early Daredevil is atrocious. If you read Daredevil 1 through 10, you're gonna be like, what?
1 through 20.
Earth. It is so bad. All right, so another Prowler book, another T-shirt book, kind of a cool book, but nothing special. Next.
This should have been a Golden Age romance book, the title of it.
In the arms of Dr. Octopus. I would not consider this one of the Dr. Octopus. He's not on the cover, just his arms are.
I mean, he's got 6 of them.
I don't know if you'd consider that like a Dr. Octopus cover or not.
I mean, it's tentacles.
Not an expensive book. Not a key. Next.
Well, fine. Then I'll raise you, and I'll put Doc Ock into the book.
Now he's on the cover. And this little like triptych, like 3-panel. I think you see that every now and then. They like to use that, like where it's like the 3-panel.
I love that. I love
really?
seeing. I think they just recently used it in Bad Batch.
Yeah,
They did a 3-panel. Yeah, to me, I think it's phenomenal. And anime has really taken advantage of it and employs that in the.
Don't they
in their
have
videos.
like action going on each?
Yeah,
Like,
they have action in each little panel, so it's kinetic.
This is an old 3-dimensional art thing from like I mean I'm not an art historian, but like that goes way back.
Just to create movement.
Where you do 3 panels that are interconnected in classical art.
Yeah.
So I think somebody was borrowing a little bit when they did these 3-panel ones, just to kind of a little throwback to that stuff.
This is it.
And this was it's funny because this was an expensive book, more than you would think. This was the death of Captain Stacy, and to me, this was a very, very sad issue. And it plays out so different than the Norman Osborn because he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he basically is like telling him to like take care of Gwen Stacy. And I don't think Peter ever realized that he knew. And I don't know, it's a great issue.
Because at this point, you're reading and you're like a 9-10-year-old kid.
This is an expensive book. I did not get this book until later.
No Marvel Tale reprints, eh?
Not on that one.
No, there's not one on that.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Marvel Tales reprint for that one.
They've got to have done it. And maybe they started doing double features in them.
Yeah.
Maybe in there, but I remember this was a more expensive book relative. If you look at the run that we had, it jumps up a little bit on this book.
Yeah.
Even though it's nowadays, I don't think they've never brought him back, right?
No. All right, so this one, high grade. I think you may need to take another look on this.
Yeah, we're looking at this, and nothing key about it, but it has one little kind of a smudge on the back that could be completely cleaned off. Looks like it has potential. Now, I want to say there's a lot of higher grade ones here. At the time, I would say that these were running about $250.
In 9.6.
In 9.6. Now, I don't know what they're going for now in 9.6. Probably about double that, maybe triple that. But at the time, it was not bad to get one of these. Like I said, you can do about one a month.
Yeah. Love this cover.
And then, yeah, nice little dynamic cover. Finally, a Gwen Stacy cover.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but there is not a lot of Gwen Stacy covers.
No, and her shoes don't fall.
Well, they're glued on.
Of course.
She has those Barbie feet. You know, they have that little.
And then they.
But yeah, if you go through and you're like, how many Gwen Stacy covers? You're like, wait, there's not a lot of Green Goblin covers.
Nope.
If you ever count them, there's not many. Green Goblin, I believe, in the Silver Age only has 13 appearances. Don't hold me to that exactly, but that is approximately the number that he has. And Gwen Stacy only has what, 2 covers?
2 covers. That we'll show later on.
Well, later on she is, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, but this is her first real, like, to me, real cover where she's face front.
Well, who do you think is better, the better girlfriend, Gwen or Mary Jane?
I don't know. It's a question I'll never have to answer.
Wow. Shout out to Gwen. R.I.P. The original Doc Martin Stomper himself.
And then this is the one that you always confuse. And you go, oh wow, that first appearance of Prowler looks cheap.
Yep. Always confuse that.
But guess what? It's not the first appearance. It's the third, actually fourth appearance. And not expensive at all.
Is it a key?
Nope. It has first appearance of Arthur Stacy, which is I think what the brother of Captain Stacy. I don't know. He has not resonated with any stories.
Oh.
All right, now this is another one that people don't realize. Why is this expensive? Up until now, we have not had a retelling of the origin. It took them all of those books to retell the origin. So this is a more expensive book.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you ever wonder why this stupid book is so expensive because you're like, there's nothing in it, that's why. Now, the other thing, is, and we're not going to cover it here, is that the Beetle is not first a Spider-Man villain. He shows up in a different story.
It's in Daredevil, isn't he? If I remember correctly. No.
Strange Tales. He's in a Strange Tales story. I believe. We better
yeah, we have to verify.
Spot check that, but I'm pretty sure he has a second appearance in Spider-Man, but not a first appearance. And this is, just the origin, and they talk about it on the cover, and it's interesting. So, retelling of origins, there was a phase there, kind of like we're going through this whole like barcode, no barcode phase. Any book that had an origin in it, an early one, was popular, and it went through like a phase. And I don't think people pay attention as much now because everything's so readily available. But when things weren't readily available, if you wanted to read the origin, they didn't have a reprint every 5 minutes.
No.
And you couldn't go online. That was it.
All right, mate.
Nothing here. This is just another one of those, sometimes on a t-shirt.
He goes to London.
Boring. It's a boring issue. It sucks. It's like, oh, wait, Peter Parker's in England and Spider-Man's in England. You must follow him.
Yes.
And then here we go. 96. And this is the beginning of the drug issues. And so if anyone's ever wondering why are these high 90 numbered books, it's because they were not approved by the comic code. And there's a whole thing about it. You can probably find it where they basically decided to do this despite the comic code threatening them. They said these are important stories to tell and they were going to tell them no matter what.
Yeah, and at that point in time, it was the 70s in New York City, and where Marvel offices were, not too far from that, was a shoot-up galley. So people were getting high all the time. So I could see why in the Village, Tompkins Park, those places, you weren't before it got Disneyfied. Times Square was not what it is now.
And I would say something funny. It's funny because here they're going to take a very anti-drug approach.
Yeah.
A very different approach I think you would see in the comics now.
Fair enough. Another choker.
And then, this is such a great cover. This is one of those like John Romita, like just
home run.
Yeah. Phenomenal Green Goblin fight, on the cover. It's just a great one. So. And these are expensive books now. I know that I definitely paid, I want to say about $600 for the last 2 that you saw. and then so I have the full run in 9.6. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. I was waiting for you to make
because this is one of my when I read these, I loved it as a kid.
Would you ever try to bump to 9.8?
No. I think that there are people who chase 9.8s because they just have to have the best one. I think if you look at the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, even a 9.4 and a 9.8, it's like
It's minimal.
it's minimal.
Particularly at this point in the run, just because we're getting ready to hit the milestone.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's a modern book, I'm very or I'd say late copper, 9.8. I don't care.
And there you go.
And then
This
it's
is the
over.
one.
Yep. So this is the dud filler issue.
99.
No, it's a filler issue.
It's the prison issue.
Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. That's the significance of this book. Not a key.
But it's the prison issue. I mean, Spidey goes to Rikers Island.
And he then sings with the Man in Black.
I mean, it's something to do.
I'm just kidding. All right.
And last but not least,
And then here we go, the anniversary.
the anniversary.
And everyone seems to be wanting this book again. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of a little resurgence lately.
Yeah, I picked one up a couple months ago.
So I used to buy. I just thought it was cool to have issue 100, and so I have a lot of raw copies of this book. And the 9.6 was not actually, that was cheaper than the drug issues.
Let's see if we'll have one left after this episode. Sorry, continue
Yes.
on.
But yeah, no, this was not. Yeah, I think the others were like 600 each. This one was like 400.
Yeah.
Maybe 350. It was cheaper. First appearance of him as the 6-armed Spider-Man. Last page. It is a key.
It is a key. It's a milestone. It's the 100.
It is a milestone. It's the first appearance where he has the arms. It's the lead into another major villain, which there hasn't been a major villain in a while.
Yes.
And this is a big deal for Marvel. So I think that this is a key for several reasons.
Flagship hero hits the 100.
Yep. And it's now a classic cover. Has everybody drawn on the cover in the little black and white kind of silhouette, like sketch, whatever you call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Single line image. So, and I'm sure little kids, I mean, back then were like naming each, person to see if they knew all the villains.
Yeah, I love this cover. I think it is by far one of the best covers. I love all the milestones, 100, 200, so on and so forth.
This would be a tough one for my kids. If I said name everyone on here, there's a few on here that might be a little tricky. Let's see. So today in the last few videos, we've gone through every single villain that showed up. There's no one pulled from anywhere else outside that hasn't shown up in Spider-Man that's going to show up in here.
Yep.
So you have to think about who. So the schemer is going to be one of. There's two heads that look similar. There's that one and that one.
Yep.
Right. So one is going to be schemer. One of them is going to be. They look very similar.
So I don't know. More to come. So there you go. We hit the 100. We hit the hundo. Big milestone mark. Heroes After Dark. Daddy's Issues. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to being 100.